The American Dream comes in all shapes and sizes, we know that, and many varietals as well.
In our Bay Area Proud series, we're heading to wine country, where NBC Bay Area's Garvin Thomas found remarkable success among people with the most humble beginnings.
Janelle, our Bay Area Proud story ideas come from many sources. Tonight's story from a co-worker, Damien Trujillo. Damien, as a boy, worked in the fields of Northern California. He told us the other day the idea that a kid like him would go from being that kid in the vineyard to having his own wine label was inconceivable at the time. But as tonight's Bay Area Proud shows us, inconceivable does not mean impossible.
In the vineyards of Napa and Sonoma, they are good at growing reds and growing whites. And it turns out
we're just about 3 years.
They're good at growing dreams, too. Dreams like the one Rafael Rios had come true. Rafael came to the United States at age 2. That's him with his dad in the back of a pickup truck somewhere in a Napa vineyard. Rafael says for him and his siblings, the earliest memories they can conjure up are the family working among the grapes. Although not all the memories are pleasant ones.
Early spring mornings where it had, there's been frost overnight and the grass is still frozen and crunchy. And you'd get out there, and this is one of my most vivid memories, how much my toes would hurt after being out, walking through that.
It certainly is a long way from there to here. Rafael Rios, now the maker of Justicia wines.
I just kind of set a goal and kind of start working towards it. It's really smooth.
But the fact that Rafael went from farm worker to winemaker is not the most remarkable part of this story.
I come from Mexico in '68 and I'm making $1.10 an hour.
It's that Reynaldo Robledo did it too, as well as Ignacio Delgadillo. In fact, enough people, 14 in all, have made this journey. They formed their own group, the Napa Sonoma Mexican American Vintners Association.
14 of these small American dream stories.
Cabernet, sí.
Ignacio Delgadillo Jr. now helps his father run their business. He says this is not just a uniquely American tale, it's something also unique to the wine business. There is, he says, something about the mix of agriculture and artistry that makes this business ripe for this type of success.
Most of the winemaking magic, so to speak, happens in the vineyards. So if you don't know the vineyards, making wine is something that's a little bit foreign.
And so once a year, the group gets together to celebrate the fruits of their success, as well as raise money for scholarships. And while there may be kids working in the fields today who lack the money to pursue their dreams, at least they no longer lack the role models.
Should I tell you that the wine tastes good?
That was our first question.
Does that go without saying? So remarkable in this span of time to go from in the time of when many of these people arrived in the '60s and working in the fields to now where they're the boss and you now being the boss onto other generations as well. Probably the most interesting thing for me was that fact that to really do wine well, you got to know what happens in the field, and no better way to know what happens in the field than to work there. So that's why it makes this kind of story unique to wine.
I had no idea about the story. Thanks for sharing it.
Cheers to
My
that.
pleasure.